Hello sports fans, I'm Colonel Failure and we're back once again to snatch bankruptcy from victory in Motorsport Manager with Bulldozer Power GT. In the last race we managed a mediocre 6th place for Falco with Henry racking up a very miraculous 9th. Overall, not bad at all. The boss is pretty pleased, our marketability is up, her happiness is good, and it's all good. Fundamentally, apart from the bank balance, of course, which is not good. The bank balance is bad. We're now 7.5 million in the hole. However, that result puts Falco out in front, and he's now clear by 9 points, ahead of Fedorova, who, even though she managed to finish in 4th place, gaining an extra 17 points this time, it's not enough to knock the big boy off the top spots. Of course, that Henry is down in 17th means that overall the team ends up in 5th. Wow, joint 4th. But it really couldn't be closer in the championship this season. With only 6 points separating the top 5 teams, it really could go down to the end of the season to decide who it is that walks away with the promotion. There you go, I've put some drama into that for you. I thought you might appreciate it. It's a highly dramatic series, except for the fact that we're not going to do very much outside of races because we haven't got any money, which is a bit of a shame. How are we actually comparing? Our staff is a little better than the average. Sponsors are considerably better. Headquarters is much better. Drivers are the car is so there's all of that to kind of consider. Oh look, there's some new pit crew available. Oh, they're amazing. Oh, brilliant. Yeah. Switch them around. Switch them around. Why am I missing pit crew here? What's happened there? Have my pit crew disappeared? Interesting. Okay, all right. Well, I'm going to put let's put Kevin in charge of managing the pit crew from here on in. But it looks like we may have lost our best pit staff, which is going to be thrilling. Anyway, let's get to the news and see what's occurring. An impressive lap time from Bulldozer Power. There, we've already run the race there, Tiger. Car update. Falco dropped by 63, Henry by 56. That's fine. Simon wants to have a word. All right, Simons, what's going on? You attempted a quick pit stop with Engelhardt during the race. It resulted in a mistake. Your very own chairman criticised the move, saying that motorsport isn't a place for gambling. And I think you'll find my usual response of, yes, it is. Just there you go. Anyway, we had to go for it because we always have to go for it. And for some reason, apparently, that makes the drivers less happy. But my drivers are pretty much always happy all the time, so that's quite all right. Pit crew review. We did 2 pit stops, and we had 2 pit mistakes. I mean, that's just... that's not clever. Anyway, dramatic race led to Jesus Texera taking the top honours with Brad Karma and Laszlo Hitbone rounding out the podium, which is super duper. Let's have a quick look at the old sponsorship situation. We've got one coming up. No, we don't. We've got 2 to go before a potentially halfway decent cash injection, which could be worse. I think it might be time to hit up the boss. Right, okay, here we go. Boss, give me some cash. The chairman is very happy. 400 grand? No, it's not worth it. No, I'm not joking. It is just not worth it. 400 grand. You tight-fisted git. No, what am I supposed to do with that? I at least want to be out of pokey for a race or two. I mean, the team's doing well. We've got the number 1 driver. What exactly is your problem? Well, I can tell you what your problem is. It's that I'm overdrawn. Anyway, we've just finished reviewing Jesus, and Jesus ain't that great. Which just goes to show that actually Jesus is that great if you consider that they pay to drive. Doesn't pay as much as Henry does, but even so, paying to drive is pretty good stuff. He is a little on the older side, though. Yeah, 33. Oh, way too old. Way too old. Rumours of Laszlo Hitbone's departure. Grand Slam Autosport driver Laszlo Hitbone may be headed for the exit door at the end of the season. The 28-year-old is one of the top drivers around, according to ex-driver David McNamara. Hitbone is an extremely talented driver. In fact, he reminds me of a young me. Humble brag. Right, okay, so Jason Ty, the chairman. I'm wondering if you're interested in voting in favour. Which chairman? Oh, Marshall GT's chairman. If voting in favour of energy recovery systems, yes. And you'll give me 250 grand for voting in favour. Done deal. Yeah, I'll take free money. Especially since I don't really care one way or the other. And you know what? That's almost as much as my own chairman was about to give me to try and keep the team from going under. So, fair dues. Right, Becky's finished the car off, so we'll go and poke the parts around. Not that I've got a massive amount of part poking still to do, but we might as well poke the parts while there's parts to poke, you know? Right, okay, well, let's adjust the balance here so that we get everything copacetic. That gets all four of those up to 100%. Very nice. Very nice. Given that these are the only parts we're going to get to use this season, even if I do land a couple of rambunctiously rich sponsors, we're still not going to be able to compete with getting any more parts done. I mean, all of this off-race business now is largely redundant. Oh, hold on, we've got some more scouting done. That's a delight. Let's have a look who we've got. Jim Kilmowski. He's one of the weakest drivers in the league, apparently. He doesn't like leading, does like chasing, and he's taking acting lessons. Good for you, Jim. Yeah, self-betterment, although acting, arguably how much betterment there is there could... that's a tricky one. Jeff Kickery is a fairly decent driver, only because he's very smooth, and that's because he's a motorbike champion. He's a pay driver as well. Ooh, we'll take 291 grand a race. We'll quite happily splash out. Well, that's lovely. But I've already got a pay driver. I've just got an expensive albatross still around my neck, and no, I'm not going to put her on the track, even though it might do a better result. Although I have to say I'm tempted. Anyway, from the championship, the International Championship, Bam Bam Puckeye comes up with a win in Beijing, having locked in the pole position as well, with Blankowski getting second, and the fastest lap time to boot. Now, this keeps Bean out in front. Bean could only manage 7th in today's race, with Puckeye in second, Blankowski in third. But they're both racing for Otsuno, which means that Otsuno is surely in the lead at the moment. Very exciting. Fandango managed to get 8th. Big whoop. Couldn't really care less. The worse he does, the happier I feel. Right, let's have a see. Let's have a see. Yeah, let's have a see how the car's getting on. Got some suspension almost done. Then it's the two engines that need tweaking up. Gearbox could probably do with a bit of a poke with a stick. But we'll get to that in a minute. Now it's just about 100%ing just about every part we've got available because well, I've got nothing else to do with my pit team, which is unfortunate. We've got some stuff done, and it's all go. 5 pieces of mail, marvellous. So the GMA are discussing to change the ERS battery size. The rule would increase the size to 100 kilowatts, meaning it takes longer for the battery to fully charge. All right, whatever. Meanwhile, Fuegas Manny wants to leave Marshall GT. I would as well. They're hopeless, and their chairman just paid me a significant amount of cash just to vote one way or the other. The jury is still out on whether the 22-year-old's ability. The Finnish driver certainly has some fans, but an equal number of detractors. Interesting. Well, I'm not that bothered. Ji-Sung Lee. Let's have a look at what you're up to, Ji-Sung. You're currently a little bit dinged. But decent cornering, decent overtaking, focus is great, everything else, rubbish. Another pay driver, 213 grand a race. All these pay drivers coming from when I've already got one. We've finished the reliability work. Good. Let's queue up the next one, and then we've got to go vote. I think I can remember which way I said I was going to vote. I can't decide one way or the other whether I am or not going to vote that way. Right, let's drop this suspension out. Let's put these brakes in. Now that will push us back a little further, but the brakes have got quite a lot of room for improvement. And in Milan, as some people insist on describing it, deceleration and top speed are going to be crucial. So buffing the brakes a little bit is not a bad way to go. So we'll also drop the suspension out and see if we can't get that shimmied along a little further. We'll stick something into reliability just so that we've got something in for reliability. Let's go for this engine. There you go. Do your best. Get done what thou wilt, if you would be so kind. And that will be super duper. Right. Okay. New vote has started. Injury recovery system. I believe I've already voted. Yeah, there I am. Look, I've voted in favour because I was bribed. Obviously, if anybody wants to interrogate me on that, I will fess all if they pay me enough. I'm thinking 4-5 million ought to do the trick, and then I'll vote whichever way we like. Actually, it doesn't really matter. The vote didn't go through anyway, so there's that. The ERS and extra chassis part costing a minimum of 409k. Oh, dangerous. So no, that one didn't go through. Oh dear. Well, that's surely very disappointing for all of us involved there. I was desperately hoping that one would go through. We've done another scout. The reason I always go to the scouting page when I've got a scouting report, despite the fact I know I'm going to get the scouting report from my mailbox, is so that I clear the flag that's on there. Can't stand having an unread message flag. Right, 32 lap race, 2.4 miles. The lap record is. There is likely to be some rain during the race, 40% chance of rain. I think this whole percent chance of rain thing is broken. Track's quite abrasive, but we're one of the best when it comes to tyre wear. Okay, well, if it's going to rain, then abrasive or not, it's not going to make a massive amount of difference. Henry's talking about fuel efficiency. Henry's got a nerve. When you're putting the chassis together for next season, could you have a bit more think about the car's fuel efficiency? We're not the worst on the grid or anything, but it would really help me to be able to push the engine a little bit higher during the race without having to worry too much about losing fuel. Whatever, Henry. And a scouting report, Joan Kilmowski is a pretty decent driver. 19 on the smoothness, 20 on the cornering. Focus is halfway decent. Braking fitness, not bad. Overtaking is okay. Feedback isn't. Out of shape at the moment. Losing a fitness. Panic prone. Panic prone, really? Well, I can see you getting all the jobs in the future then. Although a very cheap driver at 154k a race. That's bang for buck, that is. And she's refocused at the moment, giving her a buff to everything. Well, good. But that's what we wanted to hear. Right, more mail in the mailbox. Starting off with, Henry Russo is a gambling addict. Oh, good. Has that given you better stats, Henry? Nope, less focus and less morale. Good. Well done, Henry. You had the points to spare anyway. Let's have a look here. That takes his focus down to 4. Good. His braking is 1. His cornering is 0. Oh, Henry, you clown. Cost of brake contract is nothing. Cost per race is nothing. He's just rubbish. Oh well, he drives for me, and that makes him all right. Right, the race preview. Constanza Schutti is the hot favourite for Sunday. We hate her, apparently. Falco just does not like her in the slightest. No mention of any of my people, so we'll move on. Look at this. Colonel, I've spotted a number of transactions coming out of the account I find concerning. Yeah, all right. Can I have some money? You can have 400 grand. No, all right then. I won't. No, don't trouble yourself. It's your team. How about, whatevs. We have this conversation week in and week out. Frankly, I'm bored of it, boss. It's as simple as that. Deliver, and I will deliver. If you don't deliver, I won't deliver. There you are. Thank you. 272 a race for She drives for Tony Zhang at the moment, and that's Joanne Colburn, who is significantly better than yonder Henry. Why I am saddled with such a poor driver is probably down to my having not put a lot of effort into acquiring a driver who might actually suit the team. But hey, I was desperate and wanted to make a point, so I made a point, and the point has been made. Right then, so last 3 races, 6th, 1st, 4th. We're top 10. We're consistently top 10. That's all right. 8th or above for $500,000. Looks pretty good. 7th or above for 600,000. It's plausible. Tyre wear is low. Fuel burn is very high. Yes. We're going to try one stopping it. That's 16 laps. Ooh. Yeah, okay. On the off chance that it works, we're going to chance it. We're going to go for the extra 100k, and see how we get on. Henry's unhappy. Oh, what a shame. Let's fit some parts into the cars. I don't think I'm going to need to make any changes here, but just in case. Russo's got very reliable brakes. Good. Falco's brakes look pretty tasty, and the performance isn't too shabby either. Engine-wise, both look pretty good, and the reliability on the engine's good as well. The gearbox, Henry's gearbox has a little to be desired, but reliability is not something we have a problem with anymore. Okay, fine. No, we're all set here. Let's book. Let's make our way to the circuit in Milan, where we shall be victorious or near enough victorious. We only need 7th place. I say only. 7th place is far from guaranteed, but we'll do our best to do our best. I think it's a good look in. It's sort of Monza-esque. Those of you who remember Monza, I'm sure, given that Monza was also Italian, that there is a nod in that kind of direction. It's nice to see they've gone pretty good with the tree gun, although I'm not entirely sure about mixing the species up in that way. But it looks dry for practice, so that's something, I suppose. Right, okay, yeah. Falco, Henry, good. Why are you practicing on mediums? Possibly because both drivers should be practicing on mediums. Right, low speed cornering looks likely. And then, anything else I really ought to tweak during this first setup? I think we'll leave it alone. I think we'll leave it alone, he says, going in and poking it some. No, we're going to leave it alone. We will go out on mediums. 14 to 16 laps. And if we're only doing one stop, then 16 laps is an absolute must. We'll weight strip now. I don't know one way or the other whether weight stripping has much of an effect on the way the car actually handles. I don't know one way or the other whether that's a thing or not. But on the off chance it is, then doing it pre-practice is probably a good spin. Right, 150 bonus points to Falco. That's good show. Drop you to 72. This is my methodology. Anything that is non-critical will drop to low 70s. Anything that is critical we will keep at or just around 90. I'm sure you could go one more than that. I'm sure you could. I'm sure I could too, but I'm not going to. There we go. Right, smashing. Bit of performance boost for both cars, and let's see how we get on. Practice away, practice ahoy. Engelhardt, off you jolly well go. Yep, good. Get good with them medium tyres there, Sunshine, because we're going to be using them. Henry, you go out as well. And the same rule applies. Understand what a medium tyre is and fundamentally what it's for. Falco, you can come back in. Henry, you too can come back in. No time to waste. We've got to figure out what makes a car look good, other than a sporty black paint job. But we've already got a sporty black paint job, so that's okay. And Falco Engelhardt. That looked like good across the board, which is not a bad place to start out. What do we got? Okay, good cornering, good handling. okay speed balance. Now then, Henry's crew was suggesting that a little bit more low speed in the corners might prove beneficial. In which case, a smidge more on the oversteer may actually help us out a little as well. And we definitely want a bit more, I think, top speed. Let's try that and see where it gets us. Off you go, son. Right, here comes Henry. Good, great, okay. Okay. All right. Well, that's promising. So we definitely want lower speed in the corners. Now maybe it's understeer that we want rather than oversteer. Although if it's low speed cornering, then you would go towards oversteer. Typically. Anyway, I'm not gonna quibble. We'll drag it back in towards understeer because then we've got both cars doing something slightly different, which will give us a little bit more information to play with. And then we'll lengthen these gears a good chunk and see where that gets us. Alright, Henry, trot on. Alright, we'll follow Falco around for a bit. Oh, look at this. You're not supposed to be, trying to pull an overtaking manoeuvre coming out of the pits, Falco, if I'm honest. They kind of frown on that kind of thing and are likely to penalise you accordingly. Right, Brad Karma has just done a lap in a minute. Okay. Alright, well that's pretty quick. Now the handling has dropped to poor, which means I went the wrong way with it. We had a feeling I might have done, and that has now been confirmed. So we do want understeer rather than oversteer. Fair play. Okay, right. Well, I was experimenting. It was a good time. Was had by all of us. That's a pretty good. That's a pretty good amount of change we've got going on there. Top speed is now great. I would have thought it would be higher than that, given how much I bumped it up. We'll go a little bit further, but I suspect that might drag it back down again. And we've got up to great on the speed balance as well, and we've continued going in the same direction. So theoretically, if I've got the preference order right there, we should be on the money. But that's largely meaningless. Anyway, right, okay, so lower speed cornering is now set correctly for Mr. Russo. Handling, how are we looking on the handling? You were there, which was great. You're now here, which is also great. Henry, you're not really giving me the feedback that we want here, are you? We'll take that a little bit further. Tweak that back in. Top speed is now good. Well, top speed is now, let's go more than good. Let's go like audacious. But we're up to 92%, so I mean it's already good enough. 95 plus is ideal, but I'll take a 92 to 94, something like that. That's okay. Falco come back in, Henry come back in, and then I want you both back out and learning how the track actually works. It's tempting to stick one of them out on just regular soft tyres. I think we might try a two-stop strategy with Russo, given that he's not quite as capable as his teammate. Still not quite in the sweet spot for Falco, which is very disappointing. Right, okay, so that was handling great. This was handling poor. This was handling good. I don't think I'm not going to move that anymore. We'll take great, but we've knocked it down by a percentage. So we had okay, no, that's the one you just did. We had great, which was more towards acceleration. Well, do make your mind up. All right, we'll drop the gear ratios back down again. Yeah, right. Yes. Maybe I just went too far. Maybe that's what happened. Is I went further than I should have. In that case, we'll leave it like that. You're on great. That was good. That was great. This is also great. All right. In which case, smidge it back a touch, just to about there. Let's not go bananas. You come this way. No, you go there. That'll make you happier. And actually, with that one there, that feels like it could actually be the correct setup. Anyway, we'll send Falco out. You can have one more go, Falco. Meanwhile, Henry's car's all over the show. I've wrecked it. Well, it would. Why have I? What am I struggling with here? Why have I got this so very wrong? Normally, I'm good at this. Right. Okay. So this was good. That was okay. That was good. And this is poor. What? Handling, great. Yes. Handling, great. Both of those are great. And this one, for some reason, is okay. So we've gone, I think we've gone the wrong way. Also, we've got the gear ratios well out of whack. Top speed, good. Top speed, okay. Top speed, good. Top speed, poor. This is just messing with me now. So obviously we need to drop the speed balance down, which feels weird. Alright, that was good. And that was only okay. So maybe I went past it. Maybe I went too far. So if we stick it there, which feels wrong. Meanwhile, on this side of things, we want a little bit more oversteer, which, okay, we can certainly do that. And then we'll nudge you back onto there. This feels completely wrong, doesn't it? I mean, it feels wrong to you as well, because it feels wrong to me. I tell you that. All right. Well, I mean, go out for one more session, and if you don't like it, we'll take the 90% that you had before, because that's got to be better than the 75% you just had. But yeah, the car knowledge we're not on the money here. Wherever the money is, we're away from it somewhat. We're off with the fairies rather than being on the money. But learning a bit about medium tyres is definitely going to put us in good stead come race time, assuming, of course, it doesn't start raining too early. There we go. We've got it with Falco. Excellent. Great. That's good. I'm reluctant to tweak it anymore when we're at 97%. In fact, I'm not touching it. You can't make me. That was okay. Yeah. That was great. Well, we've just got it back into great. So just leave it alone. That's fine. Send him back out. Okay. And, yeah, use the rest of the time. Learn what you can there, Falco. Thank you. Oh, and somehow I managed to fluke Henry with what looks like a 98. Yeah, 98%. How odd. Okay, maybe I just did too much this time. In trying to nail it early on, I just went the wrong way with it. Oh well, so be it. Tyre choice. We'll stick you out on some softs for this one, Henry. Let me know how you go. Right, okay, so Falco's now going to get a chance to actually stick a lap time in. I don't imagine he will be particularly quick, although Brad Karma is in first place, or fastest, I should say, having gone on medium tyres. So, you know, Falco is certainly capable of putting in that kind of a performance. With Russo going out on soft tyres, maybe he too can put in a decent performance. I'll tell you what would make a difference is if I told them to be a little bit more aggressive about things. So let's do that. That would help, I would imagine. There you go. Do that. You can break the tyres as much as you please. I'm okay with that. Right, Falco managed to get 9th fastest. Only 15th for Russo. But they weren't on, you know, shred everything as their first go. There you go. Falco fastest. Beautiful. Russo 3rd. Equally beautiful. And Falco's fastest by 4/100ths of a second, 4/10ths of a second. And there's Shooty, who came in, you know, giving it a lot of lip there, and could only manage 2nd on the soft tyres. Falco is properly quick, and which is lovely. Way to go, Falco. Now, I mean, we're going to lose a little bit of that in the race because I'm going to endeavour to keep you out for as long as possible. But I mean, a lot is going to depend on the rain that was forecast, because that can just disrupt everything. Anyway, 1st and 4th. Good 1st and 4th. Very nice. Right, so over to the idiot board, and Heli Heinonen. I've been watching motorsport for 42 years, and I've never seen anyone worse than Julie Blackenkout, joke driver. Fair enough. Henry Russo, really great jobs by everyone today. We're set up beautifully for the rest of the weekend. All I have to do is learn how to drive. And Evening Herald, looks like Kickery is driving well this weekend. Wonder if that can continue into the race. I would say that was unlikely, given that Kickery is about as good a driver as Henry the Russo. So, as ever, the packs start out in reverse order, which means Falco is starting from the rear with the gear. Now then, let's have a look. Forecast, sunny, dry, sunny. Okay, Falco, you're going to stay out there for a while. A 15% increase on medium tyres. Yes, please. And then 15% from race trim as well. That's lovely. Meanwhile, Laughing Boy here, a pit stop guru. Yeah, 50% faster on the tyre changes. If we're going to make him stop twice, which I'm tempted to do, he's just not as good at maintaining his tyres, and it also means I can ask him to drive a little faster. So I think we'll go that way. Car setup, leave that alone, except we want to change the tyres here. Tyre choice. This is Engelhardt. Mediums for Falco. Fuel options, max tank, or do we? Now, we've considered this before, is if I drop some of the fuel out now, it means that when he comes back in, when he's going to need fuel anyway, because adding an extra litre or two is not going to make a big difference, versus actually sticking the hose in the first place. Meanwhile, he's gaining additional speed per lap by running a lighter load. Right? Everybody with me on that? It's a 32 lap race. We're going to bring him in at around 16, 17 if it's at all possible. So I think a lighter fuel load is the smart thing to do. Yep, I'm not hearing any arguments. That's what we'll do. Right, okay, good. Yes, I have given you medium tyres. Yes, I have. Okay, confirm that. Meanwhile, Henry, what do I want to do as far as your fuel is concerned? Well, if you're coming in at 2/3, then 26 is actually about right. Okay, well, we'll leave him alone then. We will leave him alone. You're not wrong. Right, I'm going to put Falco into neutral medium. No. Yes. For the first lap. No. Make your mind up, man. No, we're going to put him on neutral high for the first lap. We want to keep the tyres alive for as long as possible, but if a target of opportunity for overtaking comes up, we will take it. So here's the starting grid for the race, and as you already know, it is in reverse championship order. And it's Henry Wellington and Yasser Fandi on the front of the grid, ahead of Frida Potassium and Henry Russo. Then on the third row, you've got Julie Blackenkout next to Leah Russo, no relation. On the fourth row is Duncan Disorderly and Jeff Kickery. Before the fifth row and ninth place, Tallulah Crouton, with Jay Blackenkout next door. In the top half of the grid now. And it's Victoria Plastique in 11th with Constanza We Hate Her Shooty next door to her. Then you've got Freddie Potassium, Argyle Socks, the Grand Slam driver Laszlo Hipbone next to Fuegas Manny with Vittorio Corsa's Texera, Brad Karma in 18th with Elena Fedorova and Falco Engelhardt bringing up the rear. Most of the latter half of the grid have opted for the medium tyre approach. We'll just have to see how they get on with that, and we are under race orders. And we're away. A nice clean start from Falco, and he immediately gets cut up, but that's not... Look at this. If you were to just switch to the inside there, someone's off. That looks like Argyle Socks there went off on the first corner. That's very unfortunate. Poor old Argyle and his socks. That's a shame for all involved there. Russo's not really making much headway up front. Oh, he is now. He's in third. Falco, however, is languishing at the back of the pack, but he is nursing those tyres, and that's the thing that we care about more than anything else. Although, arguably, his tyres are a little on the cool side, so we'll keep an eye on that as we progress. We'll switch our attention to Russo ever so briefly, just to see what he's managing to accomplish at the moment. He's down into fifth. He's going to lose out here again. He's just not fast enough. Although he has yet to make use of the old afterburners there. Maybe now would be a good time. Go on, son, get in there. Yeah, gets cut off again. Who's that in 6th? That's Kickery in 6th. He's being a right joker, giving it all the beans and being a right smarty pants. Right, Falco has managed to overtake someone. Good show, well done. That puts Texera back into 19th, but he is off the pace. Now, all we can hope is that the cars bunch up enough so that Falco can make a bit of a difference when the time comes. It's time to figure out where our best overtaking opportunity is. And his tyres are still a little on the chilly side, so we'll put him on push for a lap or two. But the rate at which we're going through the tyres here is not even funny. Down to 82% by lap 4 is not something that we really want to see. Yeah. Okay. Well, that long straight there is the one to put the hammer down. Russo now drops to 10th. Now we should always expect to see drivers changing positions fairly quickly early on in the race, because the faster people are at the back, moving their way forward. There is no rain currently forecast, and well, I mean that's a good thing, I suppose. But right now, it really doesn't look like we're going to be able to. It doesn't look like we're going to get half distance out of these tyres at all. Falco is down to 2/3 life left on the tyres, so we're going to be doing a minimum of 2 stops. Now that plays a little bit of havoc with my decision to run with a lighter fuel load. Also, based on the jokers ahead of him, this lighter fuel load isn't actually doing him that much good at the current time, as Falco rounds the end of lap 6 in 18th place. Anyway, turbo time. This is where you, oh my giddy aunt, why would you just drive into the back of someone rather than actually pull a manoeuvre, Falco? He manages to get up to 15th eventually, but he made a meal of it. His tyres are now starting to cook up a little, so we'll conserve those back again, while Russo is almost due a tyre stop already, and that's far from ideal. Falco drops back to 16th, but that was Fedorova just drove into his rear bumper, gave him maybe a little bit of a nudge there. Did look like she maybe stopped in time, but regardless, that's a thing. So Russo is asking for fresh tyres. Somehow he's been overtaken by Falco. I didn't see that happen, but it is a thing that happened. So we'll bring him in and we will stick him out on a more robust compound for this second spin. We won't add more fuel. We'll leave the parts alone. Everything looks absolutely fine, and the pit strategy is going to be swift. As much as my pit crew are a disaster at the moment. Well, that they are a disaster can't be helped. They are a disaster. We might as well just get used to it. So Russo comes in from 19th. I think we can safely say that Russo's race is pretty much run already. We had a mistake on the tyres from Zacharias Femia, who's one of my least favourite Zachariases. I have others that I far prefer. Falco's going to go for another burn when we get round the next corner, because we've got some juice in the electro tank, and have at it. There we go, beautiful work. He manages to gain a place. Could have gained more. I felt like he slowed up a little bit a little bit quickly there. Did we just miss an accident? Henry Wellington's retired. Oh, what a shame. Poor old Henry. He's rubbish, and he's retired from the race. It's going to start getting wet just after lap 16. Ooh, we're going to nurse the tyres. We're going to stay out until lap 16. We're going to try and do our best to stay out and then come out on appropriate tyres. The question is, what does appropriate look like? Does appropriate look like wet tyres, or does it look like intermediates? We don't know how long. The rain has started. We don't know how long the rain is going to persist. It certainly looks like it's going to persist for a bit. But the longer we stay out, the more intelligence we're going to have with that regard. We should really think about coming in pretty soon, though. It does look like one more lap of knowledge and I'll be able to tell whether it's going up or not. Falco's in second now. He wants to pit. I can't say I blame him, but I want to get another lap out of him first, because I need to see just one more lap into the future to see... Yeah, all right. Just shut up. We're going to pit after this time no matter what. Falco's in first, but that's only because everybody else has come in. Do I go inters or do I go wets? It doesn't look like it's getting that wet, does it? So it's going to be inters. The only good news... Actually, there isn't any. No, forget that. 17 laps left after the pit stop. We'll give him 20 laps of fuel. Yeah. Tell you what, pit crew, if you could do a good job on this one, that'd be brilliant. But, you know, I don't hold out a massive amount of hope. We have Plastique, Osox and Fedorova are all still out as well. So I would assume that given the track is not fully saturated yet, that we're not losing too much time to it being slippery. Remains to be seen if that's the case or not, and certainly it is slippery. Anyway, in comes Falco. And come on, man. Come on. Let's go. The side-by-side with whoever that is in 10th. I couldn't judge. Everyone was moving around a little bit too quickly there. Falco back out in 13th. Oh well, it is what it is. We are packing excessive fuel at the moment, but we've got a reasonable amount of afterburners available. So we'll make use of those. Russo, for some reason, is out on dry tyres. Is that my Russo? 8th. Russo. Dry tyres. Come into the pits, man. Now's a good time. Come on into the pits. Get yourself some inters. It is going to start drying. Okay, right. Yeah, I mean, arguably you could risk it, but let's not, though. Let's not risk it. There you go. Come on in. Yeah. I don't know how I didn't notice that Henry was out on completely inappropriate tyres. It's going to help his teammate out a little bit, I suppose, but even so, that's not really how I choose to run this team. So Russo will come in. Disorderly also needs to come in. In fact, both Russos need to come in, as does Black and Cow. So maybe that's not entirely on me, just mostly on me. Right, punch it. Go. Yeah. Whip 'em. That's it. Falco now up to 9th. That's a little better. Russo has come back out again. 14 laps remaining. There is still water on the track. We are going to treat the car like we hate it pretty soon. Not necessarily yet. Give it the little bit of afterburners that you had, which really wasn't very much at all. I just wanted to defend the position there. We do need 7th place to make the sponsorship cash. Okay, everybody paying attention? 7th place is what we're going to need for the extra bonus cash money. It's important. All right, we don't have... We've got overtaken again, but we managed to hold them off. Have we? Have we held them off? It's close. Come on, Falco. Come on. You're better than this. There you go. Falco managed to hold them off. That's good. That was Plastique having a good solid attempt there. Right, what's the water situation going to be? At least lap 25, 26. There is an argument to be made for a late pit stop, being able to come up with some late goods. The track, I do not think, is going to dry off entirely before the end of the race. Now, Falco pitted very late, so he could possibly make these inters go the distance. The question is if that is the shrewd thing to do or not. I would imagine we will see Hitbone, Potassium, Shooty. They're all certainly likely to pit. Texera looks quite likely to pit as well. We've got, what are we looking at? 9 laps left on the lap clock. Meanwhile, we've got oh, hold on. I missed it. Russo crashed. Russo has crashed the car. Henry, don't know. It's not even Henry. It is Henry. Henry Russo has crashed his car. Oh, Henry. Oh, you're making it very difficult for me to want to keep you out, you know. I've got a good driver who is just a little bit erratic. Sat on the bench. Go on, Falco. you know, I really don't want to have to... I don't have to make that decision at all, frankly. Right, there you go. Put the tyres back onto neutral. That's kind of thrown my concentration a little bit. Didn't notice that he crashed. There you go. It is going to remain moist until the end of the race. So if we can hold these tyres together, there is an opportunity to be had, because Shooty, most definitely, Potassium most definitely, are going to be running very thin on those tyres by the end of the race. He's back again. Tyres are starting to heat up. But we do also... Fedorov's crashed. Well, that's very good news. Because Fedorova is obviously number 2 in the championship at the moment. And that's extremely good news for Falco Engelhardt. So he's going to be able to defend his first position a little easier. Nothing is guaranteed as yet. Obviously, we've had a couple of drivers off now. But yeah, we are going to see some pit stops. Now, Falco is 19 seconds back. He's got 42 left on the tyres, 5 laps to go. He can make them last. If he were going to pit, the time to do so would probably be in the next lap or two. But I don't think we're going to do it. I think we're going to hang on in here and see if we can't make it through to the end. There we go. We're within sponsor distance as the 2 lead drivers there came into the pits. They are now 30 seconds behind, so they're 12 seconds behind Falco. That's the bit we care about. But Hitbone and Karma have both got to come in as well. Texera is likely to come in. Manny's definitely coming in. Falco has got a chance here. It's all going to come down to the life left in the tyres, and there should be enough. Whether he can keep it on the track, we assume nothing, and how much time we start to lose as the track starts to dry out. I do like there's so much news to tell you about. End of the race kind of scenario. Hitbone is in, but he's only 11 seconds back as Engelhardt moves up into second behind Plastique. And the rain has stopped, and we've got 2 laps to go. Or it could be 3 laps. I don't want to miscalculate the lap amount, but it's going to dry out a lot. I don't think we're going to be able to hold on to second. We will save the turbos as a defensive manoeuvre. We're not going to push for first. We are going to try and hold second. So that was Hitbone there, absolutely hammering it through. We're going to have to go a little bit more aggressive. Otherwise, we won't be able to hold second. Plastique's tyres are in even worse condition than ours. Osox's tyres are also in awful condition. Karma is in 4th on a fresh set of soft tyres. Use everything you've got left in the tank, man. Just hold it together. Hold it together. Absolutely murder it. No, we've lost it. Karma has managed to come through due to having fresh tyres that are suited to the dry. But we did manage to secure the podium, basically running on the rims at the end there. But Falco held it together, and that was, it was some tense stuff. I didn't notice Henry crashing. I feel a little bit sad about that. Well, there you go. That's the news there. Potentially, we could have done a little better had Falco stopped a lap later. Then his Inters would have had a little bit more life left in them. But even then, he still would have been running wet weather tyres on an increasingly dry track. And to see that he was fighting off Plastique and Osox towards the end there, and they stopped. They did exactly the same strategy. Interesting stuff. But a good result for the team. Given that Henry is only showing up because we want his money, I'm comfortable with him crashing. I know I just had to force myself to say that. I don't truly believe it. But there we go. 18 points in the bag. Very nice indeed. And what makes it even nicer still was that Fedorova stacked the car. Good for her. And that gives us another piece of silver work for the silverware. That's what they call it, isn't it? Bit of silverware for the old trophy cabinet. There, jolly good. So it's his Hitbone in first, Karma in second, and both those drivers are challenging for the top of the leaderboard. But it is Falco that secures the points, keeps him in first place, 12 points clear. Very nice. What's it done for Henry? Henry drops down to 19th overall, the second worst driver in the whole championship. And I'm willing to bet that Henry Wellington's the stats are probably a little better than Henry Russo's. But I think the safe thing to say is don't be called Henry. Henrys do not drive fast. In the team championship, the spread is now 22 points, up from 6 points. Whew. But we do have fourth place all to ourselves now, ahead of Orleans, and that's good news. So we're going to the morons, and Bjark Dahl says Elena Fedorova is my hero. Seriously, awesome driver, cool car. Elena Fedorova stacked the car. I think Bjark needs a /S at the end of there, for those of you who do some Reddit action. Seen Kamara, yes, Laszlo Hitbone blew them all away. And then Arnold's boycott here, Herald. Laszlo Hitbone was silky smooth today. Very strong finish, showing from Falco Engelhardt for Bulldozer GT too. I should say so. We did. And then Isabel Benavides, Bulldozer Power GT. Suck. I know they did well today, but I don't care. Interesting here is that the grammar isn't quite good enough to use capital letters or spell no correctly or use apostrophes, and yet full stops are very much in Isabel's lexicon. Debate amongst yourselves what that means. I think she's a fake troll. Yes, I think she is too. Because by and large, if you don't care about apostrophes, then I mean the first casualty of a flame war is the full stop. I've always found capital letters, take them, leave them, but you'll likely capitalise LOL at the end of it for extra emphasis. I certainly would. Anyway, when I'm lighting up my favourite racing driver. So there you go. Has anybody learned anything from this experience? Well, Henry's now happier as a result of this race. I don't understand how or why, but he is. Stephanie's improving her skills week after week, despite being on the bench. Well, if that isn't a smack in the chops, I don't know what is. Do we burn the 200 grand that Henry is earning us and stick Steph in to see if we can't make a play for the team championship? We're paying her. We might have to. I mean, we are now 9 million in the hole. Ugh. Anyway, that'll do it for this week. I've been Colonel Failure. This has been Motorsport Manager and Bulldozer Power GT. I hope to see you next time, where we will be, once again, challenging for something. Exactly what is very hard to say. Financial solvency, let's say that. Anyway, this series exists because of your generous support. Thank you for backing the channel, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching. Cheerio.